Hello, everyone. We have finally made it. The conclusion to the DC version of the Yostverse, with what if the Justice League had a show like Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Now, as said prior, this was meant to be in the same universe as Batman the Dark Knight and Beast Boy the Teen Titans. But now the Justice League lineup. The Justice League would be Iron Man, Batman, Captain America, Superman, Thor, Wonder Woman, Hulk, Martian Manhunter, and Green Lantern. Black Panther, Aquaman, Blue Beetle would be Ant-Man. This would be the Ted Kord version of Ant-Man. Not Ant-Man, the Ted Kord version of Blue Beetle. Why do I keep mixing Ant-Man with Blue Beetle? Probably because Ted Kord just reminds me too much of Hank Pym. Hawkeye, Green Arrow, and Wasp for Black Canary. Black Canary would be Wasp. So, apparently the first couple of episodes would detail how the League came together. Now, apparently the history would have been something like this before the show came out, in which the DC universe was something like this. By the time of Batman the Dark Knight, Batman was the only hero active. The Justice League have yet to form. Beast Boy had left not the Teen Titans, the Doom Patrol, and the Teen Titans have yet to form. The Birds of Prey formed, came together after the events of Batman the Dark Knight Season 2 finale. The team would have essentially been Black Canary, Batgirl, Catwoman, and Huntress, indicating that had the show continued, their Birds of Prey may have appeared. But as of after, but since we never saw that, they would be dealing with larger scale threats before Justice League, Defenders of Earth. But to the other Justice League members, Clark Kent just started out as Superman. Wonder Woman is trying to reclaim her lasso because apparently she was banished from Themyscira under the orders of her mother, who was brainwashed by her adopted sister, Aresria. Martian Manhunter was a myth. Green Lantern was dealing with cosmic scale threats. And Ted Kord kept a low profile. And then the Justice League would come together. Apparently, Batman was meant to be the same version from Batman the Dark Knight. Defenders of Earth Batman was meant to be the same one. But there was a change of actors. But the Batmobile would be present, which was a scrapped idea that Batman the Dark Knight would have explored had it continued. And of course, there would be hints that the idea that Bruce and Vicky would have ended up together may have ended up being a reality. Now, the whole season would deal with the League find Wonder Woman's adopted sister, Aresria, who would have essentially freed and helped set up the Legion of Doom. The Legion of Doom would be Lex Luthor, Atrocitus, Cersei. Malefic. Dark Archer. Um, what else? Oh. Aha. When it came to Abomination, I decided to go with Grill Bane. Not Bane. Oh yeah, Bane. But for the last villain, here I'm gonna research. And Carapax, the Indestructible Man, as well as Jarvis Cord, Ted's uncle. Other villains they would deal with would be Sinestro and Brainiac, who would have been an old creation of Krypton. Season 2 would then introduce more members to the team, such as Shazam, Red Tornado, and Supergirl. Some of the new villains they would fight would be Black Mask, which ties the Birds of Prey in. And a new member of the Birds of Prey would be Stephanie Brown, who is taking over Black Canary's place as she's working with the Justice League. Essentially, Stephanie Brown would have been a scrap character from Batman the Dark Knight had that show continued. And maybe Tim Drake's Robin can appear as a guest character as well, but not as a member of the Justice League. And of course, General Zod would appear as well. And of course, Ocean Master, as well as the that's pretty much all I could say. Oh, and Black Manta too, during the first season. And Ares also would have been in the first season. There would be alien threats like, the White Martians, the invasion of the White Martians. There would have been a setup to the Paradise Lost storyline with Ares playing his return, but that never happens because the series finale would deal with the Justice League fighting against Starro the Conqueror. In the end, they would defeat Starro, but in the end, we just don't get a third season at all. Different characters would make guest appearances, such as Flash, who was meant to be the same Barry Allen, who was meant to be the original Flash, but was later changed to Wally West. Jaime Reyes becoming the new Blue Beetle after the death of Ted Kord midway through the season. Beast Boy, Black Lightning, Judo Master, Hawkman, Peacemaker, and of course the JSA, as a reference to the fact that I was essentially going to use the JSA for my DC Cinematic Universe as the Guardians of the Galaxy counterpart, but just didn't go with it in the end. However, there were plans for more. Essentially, Paradise Lost was meant to take up the first half of the season, but the second half was meant to involve the Teen Titans. The Chief would have returned. The Titans lineup would have been Nightwing, Jean Grey, not Jean Grey, Starfire, Beast Boy, Speedy, Raven, Urgent, Cyborg, Wonder Girl, among others. General Zod was meant to be saved for later on, but had to appear in the second season. Other characters were considered to appear, like Jon Stewart's Green Lantern, Cassandra Cain's Batgirl, Bizarro, Prometheus and Deathstroke, Jericho, Ravager, and Dr. Fate, but they were cut. Characters like one character that may have appeared would be Noctura, who was meant to be one of the villains in Batman the Dark Knight. But characters like the Hive, Brother Blood, Cinderblock, Cthulhu, as well as Red Lion, were all meant to appear. Even who's the other one? Oh yeah, Dr. Fate's archenemy. I forgot what his name was, but still. But apparently, would have the episode Emperor Wayne was meant to be he Emperor Sionis, in which Black Mask would have became the new ruler of the world. But in the end, that episode would be scrapped. The fourth season would have dealt with like Black Mask and Lex Luthor bring together several villains to put the Justice League on the run. But the second half would have dealt with the Force of Apocalypse searching for the mother boxes to destroy the universe. And there would have been a storyline where the Justice League begins to fall apart. And that fifth season would have been an adaptation of the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. And the Anti-Monitor, who was one of the villains in the earlier episodes of the show, would have returned. The writers would have discussed the renewed interest in continuing the series, but accepted that would be unlikely. So yeah, that is. What if the Justice League had a show like Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? Oh, and one more thing. Now, apparently, there were plans to do several spin offs had the show continued. Like a show about Ted Kord's Blue Beetle, a show about how Green Arrow and Black Canary met, a show about Wonder Woman, which was meant to happen before Defenders of Earth was greenlit, along with a canceled show called Green Lantern Emerald Knight, and of course a show about Superman's early days. A show about Black Lightning with Judo Master as a side character, and a show about the JSA. Now, I am going to discuss who the JSA members for the Guardians of the Galaxy would have been in the comments down below. But anyways, I will see you all later.